so here's something I'll never understand. I'm leaving the gym, I'm driving back here, and I'm making a little time lapse, which you'll see, hopefully. God, fucking bright, huh? And, you know, I lived in New York for a long time, and I walked a lot. I was a pedestrian. It seems like pedestrians, they always say that the right-of-way belongs to the car, to the pedestrian. Pedestrian is right-of-way. And I don't know why that's true. When I'm walking and a car tells me to go in front of them, I'm saying, yes, take your 4,000-pound vehicle and put me at the mercy of your foot on the brake as I walk in front of you at 2 miles per hour. Versus, why don't you just take your car that's capable of going 100+ miles per hour and drive in front of me so that you are out of my way in a more efficient manner. A lady was just crossing the street. We were driving parallel to her. 2 cars ahead of me, they were turning right, and they stopped in the middle of the street to let her cross. Only they stopped suddenly, and all the cars, including me and cars behind me, had to slam on our brakes to let this lady cross the street. Whereas if she would have waited for the cars to pass, she could have crossed and no one else would have had an incident behind her. And it wouldn't have fucked up my time lapse, right? So I just don't understand why we still let pedestrians have right. When they, you know, if you're in a boat, if we're on the ocean and I have a jetliner, an ocean liner where, you know, it's full of containers, a big ass container ship, and you have a tiny motorboat, you always yield to the bigger boat. Is that right? Because it takes that bigger boat longer to move than it would for you to maneuver. So I believe the bigger boat always has the right of way. I'm gonna find the definition and I'm gonna put it on the screen because I don't want to be wrong about that. But okay, welcome back. Whew, when we last spoke, I was I don't know, leaving the gym or some shit. I am on my way to the float tank. If you don't know what that is, Google float tank and Joe Rogan, and there's like a great video explaining exactly what it is. It's basically picture a triple-sized coffin that is completely light tight. Picture a jacuzzi that's got a lid on it. Pod. Opens up, you get in, shut the door. Inside is water with 1,200 pounds or more sometimes of Epsom salt, whatever. So you float on the very top of the water. The water is like 97 degrees, so you don't even notice that the water's there since it's your body temperature. And since it's completely pitch black and quiet, it is the only time in your life when you will be completely void of outside stimulus, because the water, you're floating on top of the water, you can't feel the water, and it's pitch black. So it's the best opportunity you have to disconnect your body from your mind. Short of psychedelic drugs, which I recommend, you will not get another opportunity to experience this sensation. So it won't fuck with you. But if you have a hard time sitting alone in a room in silence, you might have a hard time sitting alone in a giant coffin, pitch black. Although once it's shut, and after a second, you don't even realize that you're contained in such a small area. You could, for all you know, you're in outer space, and your mind is free to travel and go and do things and experience. And it's only like $50 for an hour and a half, which I think is more than worth it. So very interesting. I recommend you, look it up. Do a little Google search here, and if you have one in your area, I highly recommend going, because it's an experience you can't really get on Earth anywhere else. Nowhere else is it possible without drugs to disconnect your body from your mind, and that can be a huge benefit. Plus, after you lay an hour in Epsom salt, you know, you feel really good when you get out. The first time I got out of out of a float tank. I spent 90 minutes, and I swore I had just gotten in. I said, no, I just got in. And like, no, man, it's been an hour and a half. Time flew by. So anyway, that's my hard sell. Do it. Try it. Okay, this is the float tank. Alright, I'm about to get into this float tank, 90 minutes, and just fucking release my consciousness, you know, expand my shit. So, I'll see you guys on the other side. Just finishing up in this, amazing, every time, I love it. Crazy. Best thing you can do for yourself. One thing I notice when I float is that the passage of time is so fast. 90 minutes. I went in at almost an hour and a half. 90 minutes. It's like you're high. I can't even talk. 90 minutes and it felt like 20. You know. I always feel like they've cheated me, like they woke me up, but like, oh, that can't have been 90 minutes because it went like that. You know, you basically fall asleep. I fall asleep. I don't know about other people, but I drift in and out of consciousness in a couple different ways, you know, like one is like literally like I'll be asleep and then awake and then asleep and awake. And the other is my mind zips around. From rational thought to silly things to things that I want to do with my life to scenes for this vlog that I want to film. And afterwards, it's like you shouldn't even be driving. You know, when you go and you're under anesthesia or whatever and you can't drive home, or they dilate your eyes and you can't drive home. That's what it feels like. Like I shouldn't be able to. I can. It just feels so good, and it's a great feeling. And if you can find a place near you, you have to do it. There's nothing better. I'm so hungry. That's one thing for sure. Highly recommended for your soul. You know, at least just for your soul. At the very minimum, you spend 90 minutes in Epsom salt, and you feel so relaxed after that. But just letting something go in your mind and freeing that over to the universe or whatever. I don't know. Highly recommended.